welcome back to my channel. This is Momo's Bookshelf, and as you can see here today, we have a theme, yellow purse, yellow shirt. And speaking of which, I want to shout out to my parents for getting me this shirt. It says, "Just a girl who has tattoos and loves books." Super cute. So I wanted to throw that shout out. They've been super supportive of this whole thing, and I wanted to make them feel a little special today. Today we're going to be discussing my January and February wrap up. I did not do January because I was getting all this stuff sorted out, and I don't have all the books that I read in February because a friend is borrowing some of them, but we'll talk a little bit about everything anyways. So to start, I want to also do another special shout out for my minimal planner on Instagram. I use her monthly reading challenge library card style paper things. I don't even know what I would call them. I guess they're just cards, huh? They're just not laminated. They also come in a pack with a header that says library card if you actually check out library books. Speaking of which, I need to do that at my own local library. There's also a book wish list one, and then these are the monthly reading challenges. So for January and February, my reading goal was 5, and woo, I met 5 for January and 6 for February. So let's get into it. So let's get started. Book number 1 for January of 2023 was Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. I gave this 4 stars out of 5, and just a little simple, hey, this is how I rate everything. Basically, 5 is like, I had book hangover. It literally changed my life. It was amazing. 4 is basically like, this book is really good. 100% would still recommend to people. Still kind of lingered in my mind after, but just didn't blow me away as much as 5 stars. 3 is like, it was good. I would maybe recommend it to certain people, but some things about it I didn't like, or maybe there was just loopholes somewhere, the length of the book, etc. 2 stars is like, this had potential. Didn't really get where I wanted it to go. Probably would recommend it if somebody asked, but like as a, hey, you know, you might like, you might not. It might just be up to you. And 1 star is probably wouldn't recommend, and I basically forced myself to finish it. So this book is about a girl named Laura, and she basically was obsessed with her parents' love story. And she worked for this little like online web thing, and she wrote articles, and she really wanted to like basically get her big break. And she did with her parents' love story. So she travels to the island where they met and like all this stuff. Well, as she uncovers it, she realizes that the guy that she met, who was a cab driver, was actually, you know, who she envisioned being with, but she was so obsessed with the idea of the suitcase and the guy who owned the suitcase. And it was really good. It was a cute little love story. I started off the year with it. I got it from a bookstore in Nashville when I was there for a friend's wedding in December. But yeah, so 4 stars, would definitely recommend. And I think she has more titles that I just haven't seen yet or gotten yet. So let me know in the comments if you read any more of her books, and let me know if I should read them. So after that was Verity, book number 2 of January 2023. And this was recommended to me by everyone, even like if they weren't large coho readers, if they were, whatever, it did not matter. I was recommended to read this. This was my 3rd coho book, and I was not disappointed. And I definitely went to Target and read the bonus chapter in one of the books they had on the shelf. I rated this 5 out of 5. It literally blew my freaking mind. And I'm not like the hugest like coho fan. She's not my absolute favorite. She's not horrible. But this book will definitely blow your mind. So if you haven't read it yet, it's about a girl named Lowen, and she ends up getting the job offer of a lifetime as a kind of smaller known writer to continue writing and finish the last book of Verity Crawford's legacy, essentially. And Verity's alive. She's just mute, right? And like all this other stuff. And just her husband plays a part in all this. Like, it's just, read it. Like, if you don't like Colleen Hoover, I recommend this one. And this will be the only one that I probably ever recommend of hers, but definitely read it. Next up, I have Things We Never Got Over. That was book number 3 of 2023 and my 3rd of January. And I rated this one 4 stars, and I'll go ahead and double this. My 5th read of February was, let me see if it'll actually show up on my Kindle, because for whatever reason, I'm still really trying to learn how to figure this out, and it's just not my favorite thing on the planet. I love it, but like, I hate figuring out new things. Things We Hide from the Light. So January and February. I loved both of these. 4 stars, like I said. 5 stars for Things We Hide from the Light. Now, I will say, it really does depend on who you resonated with the most. If you love your grumpy sunshine trope, you're somebody who's like very girly and very emotional and all this other stuff, all amazing things, but you will definitely like Things We Never Got Over more than you'll like Things We Hide from the Light. Now, if you're like me personally, who resonated with Lena so much because she's a badass, first of all, and super independent, like not quick to rush into relationships with new people. Oh my gosh, my dog is barking, so somebody must be outside. That is going to be the book that you really like the most. They were both super amazing. The common denominator between both books is Knox Morgan is the older brother in Things We Never Got Over, and Nash Morgan is the younger brother in Things We Hide from the Light. So that's kind of the connection. It's super amazing. I loved them both. If you haven't read them yet, read them now, and definitely read them in order. So Things We Never Got Over is first, Things We Hide from the Light is second. The 3rd one comes out this September. That's Things We Left Behind, and that's going to be about their basically non-blood brother, which is Lucian. So definitely check them out. Okay, my 4th read of January was Someone Like You by Sarah Dessen. So if you're from my generation, like I was talking about in my first video, which is the millennial generation, this book was definitely written in 1998. I read it in like middle school. Honestly, this is how old this book is. I bought it for like $8 at Borders, which I don't even think Borders really even exists anymore. And also, this book now would not be $8, so. But if you haven't read it before, it is about a girl named Hallie and her best friend Scarlett. They live across the street from each other. And Scarlett had a boyfriend over the summer for their senior year, and she ended up getting pregnant by him, but he died in a motorcycle accident. So it's about how Hallie starts actually dating Scarlett's now deceased boyfriend's friend. So it was her first serious relationship, navigating through Scarlett being pregnant, and honestly just how she reestablishes herself and comes out of the relationship once it turns bad and all that kind of stuff. And really just ultimately at the end of the day, my favorite quote about it from the back is, life is an awful ugly place not to have a best friend. So really borderline, it was about friends. But last but not least, I know that I read 11 books so far of this year, but however, I'm gonna kind of talk about the Bridgerton series in its own entity. So I read The Duke and I last in January, and then majority of February I read numbers 2 through 6. So here are 3 of them. My friend, like I said, is borrowing the first 3, and I definitely started watching the series when it came out originally in 2020, and it is kind of, I'm trying to like figure out how to say this lightly. It's not my favorite, but it's also, I'm glad I'm reading them, if that makes sense. Like, quick water break. You know I haven't yet. I'm still getting over that cough. So I definitely am glad that I'm reading him. I'm glad that as the show comes out and continues coming out with seasons, don't know for how long they'll do that, I have something to compare it to, because I'm definitely a read the book first kind of person. And The Duke and I, if you've seen the show or if you read the book, they are basically the same with a few minor details that are different here and there. And I honestly love that. That was my favorite part about season 1 and the book. The book of The Viscount and Me was honestly so great. I love Anthony and Kate's story, but I don't know what in the hell Netflix was doing when it came to the show, because they changed so much and it just made so many loopholes. And if you follow me on Bookstagram, you saw me rant about it. It was horrible. I honestly finished it simply just because I wanted to see them in person and hear the like little tidbits and quotes from the videos that I'd seen all over TikTok. The third one was Romancing. Nope, just kidding. I take it back. An Offer from a Gentleman. That was Benedict's story, and I love Sophie. So if you want to read any of them, because honestly you don't have to read them in order, I'm just choosing to, that one was definitely one of my favorite. Romancing Mr. Bridgerton is our lovely Colin and Penelope story. I hate the book. I hated it. It disappointed me so much, and which is probably my fault because I walked into it having way too high of expectations, but it was terrible. And honestly, I was kind of losing faith in the Bridgerton series at this point, and to follow it with To Sir Philip with Love was a horrible idea, even though that's the next installment of the series, because Eloise's story, I love Eloise. I love her in the show. I love her in the books, but I don't know who the hell she was in this one, but I don't know. She fell in love and just snapped. I don't know what was happening. Then I took a break from Bridgerton and I read Things We Hide from the Light, like I already talked about. And then I followed it up with When He Was Wicked. And so far, and I'm showing this one because this has been my favorite out of all the series. I really love Francesca. It was a small preview of one of the younger siblings that from the earlier books and in the show you don't really know. So it was really nice to get to know at least the adult Francesca. I know her as a child plays a role in here and there in the books, but it's definitely been nice to get to know one of the younger siblings, as she's number 7 out of 8. That's a lie. She's 6 out of 8, isn't she? Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, Eloise, Francesca. Oh shoot, she's 5. Gregory, Hyacinth. Okay, so yeah, she's number 5, I guess. Just kidding. But the 6th one to get married. Maybe that's why I got it backwards. So yeah, that is my January and February wrap up. If you want more details about all of the books and my thoughts, like more in depth or whatever, I can make the next video longer if that's what you guys want. You can go to my Bookstagram at Momosbookshelf and read my thoughts and summaries there. But it is all out there for you guys. Drop a comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time for March. My goal for March, I think, is also 5. So I have to reach 50 by the end of this year. So see you guys next time.